is it? Big right hand on the overhand from Stewart. Check left hook lands from David Stewart. Left hand from Lopez. That's a left hand from right hand. We might be done, and we are. Gates turning his back. Referee Andrew Glenn taking a close look, and that is it.
Great Falls, we all know who the winner and champion of the 145-pound division is.
Naked right hand, knocked down number 3. Huge left hand from Lloyd Nixon. We are done. We are done. Billy Wagner just keeps on rolling now. 3-0 in BKFC.
We are back again. We are here live, totally live. I can't hear myself. Hopefully you can hear me live from Satellite 5. And that's what happens when we're live. All kinds of stuff happens. That's why we like being here. The other reason I like being here today, it's very important. We have a lot of BKFC news and gossip we're going to talk about. But also today, in case you don't know, 79th anniversary, as DC was telling me, who works with us, of D-Day, which is very important that we continue to remember these things, because I feel like a lot of the younger generation, it was so long ago, it's not taught as much in schools. I feel like they tend to forget about it, and we can't do that too. I would shout out the World War II veterans, but unfortunately, there's not many with us anymore. I did meet one yesterday, 97-year-old guy walking around the park, World War II veteran. I had a long talk with him, and I was telling him how much an honor it was to meet him, and he had tears in his eyes. It was a great moment. So shout out to any active, former, you're always a military member to me. Thank you. Now, segueing off that, we have so much to get into today. Tons of stuff. Chris Lytle, we're going to do a Lytle look ahead. Of course, BKFC 44 coming up. Look at the Rain Man graphic. BKFC 44 coming up. We're going to pick some of the top fights and get Lytle's locks. Now, we can't gamble, but why not pick Lytle's brain and let you win some money? We'll talk to him today. Also, a lot of drama in BKFC we're going to unpack today. Arnold Adams, former champ, lost to Alan Belcher. He's going to come on. We're going to find out what he's been up to. And he's had some stiff words for Alan Belcher. He's even offering payment to Alan Belcher to fight him. We're going to find out more about that and see where he's at. And then on top of that, coming up, as I said, BKFC 44. Looking forward to it in Great Falls, Montana. A lot of tough guys in Montana. This guy's no exception. That's Lloyd Cupcake Mix you're looking at, formerly Lloyd Woodward. We're going to talk to him and Woodard, excuse me, and we're going to talk to him, and we're going to find out how excited he is for the fight, and on top of that, just some other stuff. Get to know him a little better and find out how he's changed as a human being. There's so much to get into, but right here and now, it's my honor, it's my pleasure, it's my privilege to have this guy in studio. He's always matchmaking. If you're new to the product, this is the guy that's pretty much responsible for all of the great fights that are put on. He matches them up. He's always working. He's always got his pencil out. He's racing. He's drawing. He's doing all kinds of stuff. And he's a pretty nice, reserved guy for the most part. But today we have Nate Shook in his bucked up gear, showing sponsor support. That's right. A little applause there for Nate. Nate Shook, great to have you on here. And there's something that, as mild-mannered as you are and calm as you normally are, I feel like there's something that, for lack of a better term, kind of chapped your ass, man. We saw on Facebook, on social media, there was a fighter that was speaking out. Now, this happens. It's freedom of speech. You can do whatever you want, right? Now, this happens all the time. However, this time, I feel like, well, I'm going to let you explain it. I feel like there was a lot of inconsistencies with what this fighter was saying. We have the post. We're going to put it up on the screen there for you so you can see it. And I'm going to have Nate react to this. Nate, let's just break this down line by line. A guy named Blake Davis, who I've never had trouble with in the past, but then I saw this online. I saw this before we even talked about it, and this made me scratch my head because I know we don't treat fighters like this. So, Nate, I kind of want to give you a chance to answer back here on the Bare Knuckle Show. So let's just kind of go through line by line. Ready? So it says, first of all, say hi.
How's it going? I don't want to cut you off. You're on a good roll.
I was on a roll. I was on a rant.
I was waiting to plug in. And
yeah, I'm too much bucked up for me. So he says, Blake Davis, I will not be fighting June 23rd. That's the Hollywood, Florida event, which is going to be an amazing event. BKFC.com for that. So he's not fighting. Fine. BKFC is not happy that I have made the money that I have and walked away from both of my fights so clean. Do you want to answer that?
I don't know what that even means. Like, why would we be upset that he made the money that we agreed to pay him and walk away clean? Like, I don't get it. Like, we want fighters to go in there and fight hard, but fighting hard doesn't mean getting injured. Getting cut or getting bloody. It's good to have exciting fights.
Yes.
When there's no injuries and no blood as well.
Yeah,
So that part of the whole, when I saw that message get sent to me, because I didn't see it on Facebook, someone sent it to me at first and I went to check it out.
Okay.
I thought it was a joke. I thought someone made one of those fake little posts and sent it to me just to kind of stir up some drama. And then I saw it was real and I was like, you have to be kidding me, because there are so many inaccuracies in this post that I messaged you and I was like, hey, let's at least talk about this. And
come on. So what I see about the walking away unhurt, unscarred, or whatever he said, unbeaten, in BKFC, we're guys that are trying to get TV deals here. We're on the come up. So we don't want fighters to get hurt. That's the worst thing. First of all, just in general, we don't want them to get hurt because we care about them. Second of all, we're trying to get TV deals. We're trying to get sponsorships. We would never say that. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not speaking for anybody, but everyone I know here would never say that. Didn't make sense to me either. But let's get back to the post here. We can look back and kind of break down the rest of it. So that's your first thing you're saying. And then as we read through the second part of the post here from Facebook that we saw, it says that I've been asking for bigger, more competitive fights, and they have been saying, let's get you one more, kid. Let's get you one more. One of them.
With this, Blake, about fighting on this card. As you know, and as a lot of people know, our regulatory team is comprised of 2 regulators. We have Nelson, who helps matchmake.
Yes.
We brought Jules on board recently. We have Andy, who helps out. So it's not just me talking to these fighters anymore. Him and somebody else to Florida after the whole March ordeal, if you will.
Yes.
Someone reached out to Blake about fighting on our card. I offered an opponent who I believe was 2-0 at the time and accurate previously for the last show, which obviously he didn't fight on because we didn't come to an agreement.
So you gave him what you thought was a more competitive fight, and you're
did.
saying that he didn't want that. He was trying to kind of say other people that didn't have as good of records. That's fair to say. So that's an inconsistency you're saying in the post.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go back to the post and let's look at what else he has to say, Nate, as you try to clear the air here. Let's see what it says as we look at it. These guys in the control room are going to love us, flipping back and forth between the
I
posts.
can't even read it, so I'm glad you're sitting so close because I can't see that far.
They keep playing games with my heart. No, they keep playing games, and now they want to take a bigger fight for less money and penalize me if I don't sell $20,000 in tickets again. What kind of sense does that make? Seems like they are low on money and hating on one fighter that brings in professionalism class to the table. I'm the best fighter on the whole BKFC 175 roster and just want a fair opportunity to prove myself. BKFC is lacking true talent and professionalism. Speak on that, please.
That was a lot, so we might have to break this down a little bit more.
Well, we're running short on time segment. You were saying 7 minutes. This is going to go past that.
I'm sorry. So as far as keep playing games, I don't know what kind of games we're playing. The opponent that we offered him for this card, from my understanding that I wrote the contract for, was 1-1. I mean, there's nothing. I'm not taking anything away from the guy who's 1-1.
No.
I'm just saying.
Everyone's got to start, you know?
Yeah. So fight for less money, which, it's not a bigger fight. The guy was 1-1, and it's not less money because mathematically that's just not how numbers work.
Okay.
It was definitely not less money. Now, some fighters, and again, I wasn't a part of the negotiating with him, so I just did like the paperwork on the back end. Sometimes fighters try to incentivize higher purses by making
I'm half asleep. Are we back on yet? I don't even know, Nate. What happened? We're talking about having money problems here, Nate.
We're broadcasting live from the bunker where there's no internet ever.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, the internet dies. I see on here, and Michael said, hey, Dave, pay your internet bill. See, now I'm more nervous that this guy might be correct, that we're having money issues. We don't lack professionalism, though, but we're okay. We're back at it again. Thank you for staying with us. This is the beauty of a live show. This is the budget they give the show. I say that at least once a week. This is where we're at. So, Nate, let's wrap this up, but let's talk about how he was saying the promotion having money issues, and you started to say, I don't know what the people heard or didn't hear, but you started to say that you see the trajectory of the promotion, we're upward, so it doesn't look like we're having any money problems. I think that's, it's, how would he even know that? Is he our accountant? I don't know.
I have no idea. And sometimes, and again, I'm speaking generally, sometimes people say things and they don't have all the facts.
Yep.
So
they speak in anger sometimes.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I wish Blake Davis the best.
Do I.
I hope he has a phenomenal fighting career wherever he goes from here, but if he wants to talk about it more, he can pick up the phone, give us a call, or we'll be down at the show on 623. Swing on by, say hi, and let's talk.
You said that so nicely. If you would have said it the wrong way, he would have swung on by and it would have had fisticuffs. It would have been nuts. But I'm kidding. I know that Nate's nervous. I know, Nate.
No, what I'm saying is, like, it gets, I don't want to say annoying, but it gets frustrating when people go to social media to vent something, and they just pick up the phone and say, hey, here's my issue. Can we resolve it?
Let's squash it.
And if we can't, move on.
Shake hands and walk away.
Too many times people go to the internet and then people see one side of the story and then we feel like we have to respond or we don't respond. If you don't respond, it looks like you did something wrong. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, not everyone's going to be happy. And I wish we could make everyone happy, but sometimes we just can't.
That's how it goes. Yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, I wish Blake as well. He's always been a top-notch guy to me. That's why I was like, when I saw that post, I'm like, whoa, Blake. But good luck to him. Nate Shook, everybody. Nate, before we get out of here, because we have Lytle's Locks coming up, is Lytle in the virtual waiting room? I don't even know. We had such technical difficulties here.
Yeah, he's here.
He's in the virtual waiting room. So,
What's up, Chris?
I don't think he can hear you yet.
Man.
So we got to get you out of here and bring Lytle on. So thank you for your segment, Nate. Thank you for enlightening us with that. And I'd be curious, what the chat thinks. Nate's side, Blake's side. Do you pick a side? Do you care? Let us know in the chat. I see you guys are going nuts. Nate, thank you very much. Let's bring Lytle in for Lytle's Locks. You can say hello if you want, Nate. I'll let you stay in for a minute. I like you. So let's say hello to Chris Lytle. Lytle's Locks. Chris Lytle's going to pop up here soon. He can't win money. I can't win money. Nate can't win money, but you can because, you can bet. We're not allowed. We just sign these little things. But why not ask Chris Lytle about his locks and find out, who the best picks are. Here goes Nate walking right through the camera after I invited him to stay. Wow, Nate.
Oh, see you, Nate.
Thanks, Nate. Bye. All right, let's get Chris Lytle on here. My good buddy, part of the amazing Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship broadcast team, along with Sean Wheelock and Cyrus Fees and Jeff Houston. Chris, it's always good to see you. We had some technical difficulties. I don't think it was us. I think maybe when you called in, it just crashed. They knew you were going to be on. The ratings were going through the roof. That's probably what happened, Chris. Well, listen.
I'm sure that's what it is. Yeah, you're very accurate, very smart. I don't know. Probably not, though. I mean, Nate couldn't even stick around for 2 minutes to say, hi, Nate. I heard you say hi, but then you left. That's okay.
Does Nate owe you money or something? Shook the crook. He ran out of here. He's nuts.
I know, man. He's mad at me, maybe. I don't know.
No, Nate loves you. I think Nate has a lot of work to do. Nate's always has papers around him and contracts every time I see him. Yeah. I wouldn't want that guy's job. Let's do Lytle's Locks. This is awesome because, as we always say, you can't make money. I can't make money. We're not allowed to gamble, but you can make a killing. And a guy like Chris Lytle, that's like we had the segment. He's like the Rain Man with this stuff. And I want to go through. I want to go through. Definitely, he said. I want to go through the top 3 fights, but on the card. But before we do that, quickly, 5-year anniversary was this past Friday for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and you've been here almost the whole time. I've been here almost the whole time, not the whole time, but almost the whole time. So I'd be curious, just off the top of your head, are there any memories or moments that stick out in your mind? Like, give me like one of them where you feel like, wow, this happened, or it was a great fight, something that just sticks out. What do you think?
Man, I've been to a lot of fights in a lot of different disciplines and a lot of styles. The environment when Artem Lobov fought Jason Knight, man, that place was electric. That place was nuts. That was one of the best fights I've ever been to. Those guys beat the brakes off each other for 5 rounds. Such an entertaining fight. And I remember as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, this is the most exciting sport I've ever seen. And that was an amazing fight. That was so much fun to be part of.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that one live, but everyone on the crew, when they talk about it fondly. I mean, everybody, it's the atmosphere. So, I mean, you could feel that coming through the TV too. Let's take a look at the fights coming up this weekend, I should say, this Friday night, BKFC 44. We travel to Great Falls, Montana. I'd assume that you and I are going to be at the Sip and Dip, watching mermaids swim around us as we drink a beer or two. Have some libations. But before we do that, we're going to get through this amazing fight night. And if you look, let's start with the third one down. Billy Wagner, Bryce Hall. Now, Bryce to me was so impressive in his debut, and I want to see what else Bryce has. He just seems like a really tough kid. Billy Wagner, time-tested. That's my thoughts, but my thoughts are not as nearly as good as your thoughts because you're Chris Lights Out Lido with Lido's Locks. What do you think, man, about that fight?
I mean, I think you're 100% accurate what you're saying right there. I mean, Billy Wagner has been around for a while, a lot of experience, just known in Montana, a very tough, well-rounded fighter, just a good all-around boxer, stand-up guy. Bryce, so he's at not as much experience, but he's been perfect. He's been undefeated, just perfect in everything he's done. And last fight, he really impressed me. The way he went about it, attacked the body, just the way he did things, I was like, man, the hype's real. The hype is real about this guy. It's not all hype. So that's a perfect fight, to be honest with you. You want to see, is it going to be the experience and the wisdom and the ring IQ right there of Wagner, or is it the young buck that's coming up with the not the experience, but it's the perfect, blemish-free record? Is he going to come through and be able to do what he's done to everybody else, or is it going to be that experience factor? That's a perfect fight right there.
I don't know if you're allowed to tell me because you're a broadcast journalist. You have to call it right down the middle. But who you got?
Like you said, man, I don't know. I do everything in percentages. You know what I mean? Because none of these fights to me are guaranteed. We've had fights where I think the guy's going to win, and he goes out there and hits a guy, knocks him down, and then hits him again on the ground and got disqualified. So there's nothing guaranteed. That's a pretty tight fight. But I'd probably give a slight advantage to Bryce, but it's pretty slight on that one.
All right, that's a great call. Thank you for that. Let's look at the co-main event. Interesting one. Dallas Davidson, Lloyd Cupcake Mix. Dallas Davidson, another young gun. Two Montana guys. Montana guy, it's a fight town. Lloyd coming off, I believe it was like a 14-second knockout. He's a Bellator vet. And Dallas, like I said, a young gun. He's hungry. And we've seen him do well. I think he had some stoppage victories. So this is going to be a good fight. Where do you stand with this one, Chris?
The thing, if you know anything about Lloyd Mix, Lloyd Cupcake, he wasn't, like you said, he wasn't always Lloyd Mix. What I'm gathering is as Lloyd Mix, he's much more calm, cool, and collective. Before, he had to be mad. He had to hate the person. He had to get himself all hyped up to go in there and fight. That was what he was. So now it's a different guy. So he looked phenomenal last time, but I think he's still a little bit of a question mark. Some people need that fire. Some people don't. And we're going to find out real quick whether he needs it this time. Last time he went over there and walked all over his guy. Not going to be the case this time. So we're going to see some guys, when they don't have that fire like that, they're not as good. Some guys are better. We're going to find out what Lloyd has right there. If he's better like this, or he just caught the guy last time and knocked him out. Like I said, some people need that. Some people need to hate somebody, like I would say, like a Diaz. I've never seen a Diaz who's not been like angry when they fight. Mm-hmm. If they were calm, would they be as good? I don't know. And I think this Lloyd Mix now, we'll find out if he needs to be angry or not, or if he can just fight no matter what.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually listening to you, but I don't usually go backwards. But I'm looking at the chat. Inadvertently, I may have said Bryce Hall, who's a big influencer. I apologize, Bryce Henry. How did I forget Bryce Henry? It was just a Freudian slip. So I apologize for that, Bryce Henry. Looking to see what you do in the future. But I like it. I like your
How do you know who Bryce Hall is?
I don't know. I saw him online the other day about Bryce Hall, and apparently he's got a bunch of followers. My friend's son was telling me all about this kid, so I looked him up. It's probably why he was in my head. I don't know. But I do know that I want to, who you got between those two? Dallas Davidson and Lloyd Cupcake Mix.
Oh, that's a real tough one. Like I said, you don't really know who's going to show up for Mix, in my opinion. But to me, his experience is so great. I couldn't go away from Mix right now just because of his experience. That's going to be tough to overcome. But that's another very tough fight. I don't. A lot of times I look on the card and there's like, okay, I think this person's going to win. This person's going to win. If I were betting this, is who it would be. But I wouldn't bet on either one of those two fights. I'm just telling you about them. They're close. You know what I mean? I'm not picking those as my locks.
You have our betting partners losing their minds for saying that, but it's okay. So Lido can't bet anyway, so he wouldn't be betting. But I'll tell you this: these are why these fights are so fun to watch, because they're not easy to predict. And I would argue, I'm not a gambler, but I would think it's almost, as long as you come out the winning end, more fun if it's competitive like this. It's probably more fun if you're a gambler and you just win easy money.
Yeah.
I tell I'm not a gambler.
You want a 3-second knockout.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I got my money. All right, main event. A lot of heat on this one. Two guys hailing from Great Falls. They do not like each other. It's a grudge match. Actually, we had the featherweight title here for weeks. That's gone now because one of these guys is going to leave as a world champion. Kai Hefty Bag Stewart, he calls himself the Outcast, versus Louis El Loco Lopez. And he comes to the ring. He's been training with the legendary Joe Riggs, who I know you know well. There's so much to this fight. There's a lot of hatred. We've had both guys on. There's a great piece on BKFC app, bkfc.com, if you don't have this, spotlighting how they don't like each other and how, they're both talented fighters. It's going to be fun to watch, I feel like. Now, Louis had said to me that he gets offended when people say it's going to be fun to watch because he thinks it's going to be a one-sided fight. So I understand what he's saying in his mindset. Kai seems very cool and collective. Louis seems like he wants to get his hands on Kai. So where are you at with this one?
This one a little different. I think when you really look and break this fight down, I feel like, both guys obviously very talented, like you said. I feel like Louis Lopez might have a few more ways to win. I think he is more of a complete fighter inside out. I think Kai usually has to be more inside to make this his fight. Now, it's great if he can get inside, but if it's a trouble getting inside, I feel like he's going to struggle a little bit with the range. Louis is long. Louis can hit hard from outside. You can just see there. Going against Howard Davis, a very tough competitor, got the win there. But I think Kai is more, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but he has his game plan. But who else? Doolittle's one side. He has to get inside. He's very successful. So, I don't know. I just feel like right now Lopez has a little bit more options, tools in the toolbox, however you want to say it. I think he can win from inside or outside, and I think Kai's more limited just being on the inside.
I'll say this. Kai Stewart, a very accomplished wrestler, and, that wrestlers are probably some of the toughest, most disciplined people in any sport. Louis, I didn't even realize this. He went to go play pro baseball, and I was talking to him last week, and I feel like to play pro baseball and put that grind in your body, that's a pretty tough sport too. So they're two very tough guys, and I do think the discipline and just the toughness. I mean, I've been through wrestling practices when I was younger. Sometimes you will yourself through them. You're dying. So I think that could go a long way for Kai, and I think it's going to be a fun fight to watch. Sorry, Louis, I know you get offended when people say that, but I'm looking forward to it. And the crowd's going to be nuts in Great Falls, man. I can't wait for it.
That's going to be great because two guys from that area don't like each other. That is real. That's not manufactured. They haven't liked each other for a long time. Before bare knuckle and after that, they're still not going to like each other. So that has nothing to do with it. These people don't like each other. It's going to be a packed house, and nobody's going to leave. Sometimes before the main event, if you're there and your guy fights third, like, I'm not staying. I'm going to get out before the traffic. But these guys are going to stay the whole time. Everybody, they want to see these two guys throw down, as they should, because that's going to be a great one.
Dude, you have Kai's contingent. You have Louis' contingent of fans. It's going to be electric in there. And the last thing before I let you go, Chris, is there anything on this card that you're looking at that I don't want to call it a sleeper fight? Maybe it is a fight that you're looking forward to that maybe other people might not be. One to watch.
Man, I even know, I think it's the fight before that, sorry, DP, that guy, he always puts on entertaining fights. But that's going to, the last 4 fights I've really been looking forward to. I think those are all going to be very, very fun, very competitive, very entertaining fights.
Fantastic. Chris Lytle, Lytle's Locks. I got to let you go because I think Arnold Adams is going to be coming on in a couple minutes, and we have to make some time for him. He's got some beef with Alan Belcher. So thank you for coming on, Chris Lytle. What's up?
Real quick, man, hearing all that stuff, before I came on, that stuff's surprising to me. If you're going to start talking about I'm not getting good enough competition, but you're passing up fighters, it doesn't work that way. Like if you get offered some tough fights and you pass them up, you can't complain that you're not getting tough enough fights. I'm a little confused on that one. I'd like to have a conversation with him on that and have that one explained to me. I just can't for the life of me understand how that's even possible, but whatever.
So if you're just tuning in, Chris is referring to Blake Davis, who made a Facebook post basically saying that he's being told that he can't get good competition. One more fight till he gets a bigger fight. Here's the post. We were talking about this with matchmaker Nate Shook. Nate was a little bit offended by it a lot because none of this was true according to him, and I would concur with that. I like Blake, great guy. He's always been nice to me, but I just, when I read this, I'm like, wow, I work here. I'm like, I can't see this being true, but... So, excuse me, Chris, thank you for weighing in on that as well. So you got Lytle's Locks and you got a Lytle hot take. I like it. Thank you, Chris.
All
Lyle.
right. Hey, I'll be seeing you this week. Yeah, we're going to have some fun.
We're going to eat
in Great
brisket.
Falls. We're going to have a good time.
We're going to eat
Slip
brisket.
and dip, see some mermaids. Yeah.
And we're going to eat. Hey, didn't you say you're going to come out of retirement if they can pay you in brisket from that brisket place in Great Falls?
I'll fight whoever's there just to get that brisket. That place was phenomenal.
All right. Well, you're awesome. I look forward to dining on brisket and staring creepily at mermaids. It'll be fun.
All right.
Lights out.
See you,
Chris
bud.
Lytle. Thank you, brother. See you later. All right. So there you have it. Some great picks, some Lytle locks. I always like catching up with Chris. I know we have Arnold Adams scheduled for 12:30. I have a feeling he's not in the virtual waiting room. Is that correct to say?
Standby.
Oh,
Not
he
here
is.
yet. He's here? No, he's not here yet.
Oh, he's standby means to wait.
Arnold,
oh,
if you're
geez.
watching, it's time to
Well, that's
jump
fine.
in.
We can talk some
You want
more
to riff?
stuff.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's riff. Evan,
Go.
we're talking about the BKFC 5-year anniversary. You've been here for, I think, the whole time,
Since
right?
before the beginning.
Yeah.
Since I did the first video ever that was What is BKFC? Where me, Senior, and we had two local Philly guys sort of act out a BKFC fight at 23. Or no, what's it called? It's not the
ECW
2300.
Arena. How
There
dare
go.
you? It's the ECW Arena where
yeah.
ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling was made famous. It's called New Alhambra. They've been through, I think it's 2300 now, but I refuse to call it that. I do know that when we were there, you were like having me take you around the ECW Arena, Evan. You're like, where did the Sandman show up?
Yes,
where
of
was
course.
Sabu? You were asking all these wrestlers. You're a big wrestling fan.
Love
So let's talk. That's fine. Let's talk about this. I'm curious now, Evan, because you're a guy that's always close to the ring. You're editing video nonstop, you and your team. Yeah. So I'm wondering, as far as 5 years for you, what's some standout moments for you? I know you've spoken about what Chris was talking about, the atmosphere and the Lobot fight, but is there anything else?
I mean, honestly, every year I think we put on a bigger and bigger fight. I mean, just running down it now. Obviously, Lobob Night 1 was like
incredible.
Our breakout, but then followed up. We never had more buzz than we did with Paulie and Artem, which was like
That was awesome.
And you saw how bad Artem's face looked after he fought Paulie like 2 months later. Like that fight was in April, and then he fought Paulie in June. So there was still a bunch of buzz around that, and then that arena was just crazy, the energy in there. But then, I mean, that was what, 2019, 2020. It's all a blur now.
Well, I'll tell
I used
you,
to be able to keep track.
I know it's harder now, but I think I could kind of tell you. I think a cool thing that we did, BKFC 11 during COVID.
Yeah.
Nobody's running shows, and we just continue to run shows.
You were at that show?
That was my first one that I actually traveled to.
What did you think of that one? Seeing as that we were in like a rodeo stadium.
I thought, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
I didn't know any better.
For those who don't know, that show, so it was during COVID, so no, arenas were open. So we were able to get, it was like a rodeo stadium thing. The floor was all dirt. They had to roll
it was bad, dude. It's so hot.
They had to roll them. So like, I don't know, what's the thing with the big like
a steamroller?
Steamroller, yeah. They had to flatten it all so you could walk on it. And there was they had to bring in air conditioning, but it didn't work.
Come on, bring it in.
It was like 100. It was, what was it, July or August in Mississippi?
Yeah.
And it was probably 120 degrees. I had pants on, and they were all the way down to my ankles was just wet. it was.
You sure it was the sweat, right?
And it was a long night too. There weren't a lot of like finishes. It was
long. And I'll tell you, if you remember, there's a back room where everybody would try to go. There's one room that was air conditioned. I remember being crammed in there with Lytle, and this is when I used to wear suits to the event, so it was super hot. But that's some great memories. I mean, we can riff on a little bit of those more later. I like kind of looking back with a guy like you. We do have Arnold Adams here. We don't have a lot of time with him, so I want to talk to him quickly about some stuff that's going on with him. Let's bring the former champ in, Arnold Adams, the boogeyman. I'm afraid to say his name. He might show up. There he is. I love that hat. Is that the official merch line?
Used to be. Got some new designs on the way.
Oh,
What's
good,
up,
man.
Brian?
That's awesome. How are you, man? It's good to have you on here. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're pretty busy right now. So we got a couple minutes with you. I just want to get to it. First of all, what have you been up to since we last saw you? And we're going to talk about the fight, but what have you been doing, man?
I mean, training with the thought process that I might be fighting soon. But also, football just started back up, so I'm back coaching my youth football team.
Coaching youth football. I love that. Are you like one of the coaches that, screams at the kids, and are you like a motivator? What kind of coach are you?
All of the above. Just depends on the mood and how they responding. Like the kids I coach, they're 13, so the nuts just drop. They starting to feel themselves and think they can move how they want to move. So yeah, for the most part, we have good practices, but they had them days when they want to be lazy, and I had to light a firecracker on you.
Little shoe in their
We'll
ass.
say.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the parents, you get those parents, they're probably afraid of you. Do the parents still scream from the sidelines thinking they know better than you? They know that's the former world champion. They shut their damn mouths. What happens?
Honestly, we don't have that problem too much.
Good.
And it could because of me being a fighter. But no, we don't have that problem. A lot of what I get is, can you give my son some extra work?
Wow.
I got a call from his teacher this week or things of that nature.
That's cool. It's cool you help motivate the youth. I dig that about you. Now, let's get into the fighting, man. I mean, quickly, let's talk about the Alan Belcher match. And there's a reason we're doing that. I know that was months ago in NOLA, in the Big Easy. Just in a couple sentences, I know you've spoken about it on social media, but kind of tell me what went through your mind when you heard that finish announced. Are you frozen? He's frozen. Look, I'm going to gaze into his eyes for a minute. Well,
He's thinking really hard about what he's
he wants to say. I'm sorry, I'm still getting over this cold. Every time I laugh, I cough. It's terrible. There he is. Look, he's laughing at me. I would
ask the question again. Yeah, so like I'm downtown New York right now, and the reception is horrible.
That's fine. That's fine. So
what was the question again?
The question was, when at the end of that fight where you lost your world title to Alan Belcher, what was your thought process like immediately when you heard that announcement and everything?
Honestly, when it first happened, I was just like, fuck, I can't believe that just happened. I just allowed this to happen. What the fuck? But I wasn't aware of everything that happened prior to until I got into the locker room and on the way back to the hotel. When I'm getting messages and someone created a video and put it on YouTube. Before I got back to the hotel after the fight, I had a video about what happened on YouTube. And that's what, like in the fight, when I dropped him, I'm not thinking about the count. I'm not thinking about the rest count. I'm looking at him, his eyes, and what I see and how I see he don't want to continue. Now, listening to the count, I didn't listen to the count at all. So it wasn't until after the fight when everyone's hitting me up like, that was some bullshit. Then why? What they own with you? They gave him this amount of time the first knockdown, this amount of time the second knockdown, and you got the shortest time ever. And I'm like, so I go back and I watch the video and I'm like, damn, Andrew Glenn just fucked me in this fight. Like, fucked me hard in this fight.
Have you spoken to Andy Glenn since that moment?
What was that fight? At the Beck Rollins Misfit fight.
Okay.
I spoke with him briefly, and I forgot what he said, but it was so much going on, and he didn't even really give me an answer on what happened. He didn't even try to justify what had happened or his decision-making in that situation. Okay. He just kind of basically like brushed it off and kept it moving and changed the subject.
I can tell you, I'll never make defenses for any decision. I'm not in there. I'm not fighting, but I would not want to be a ref. You couldn't pay me enough. I don't know why people want that job, because you're always going to get scrutiny no matter what. But I mean,
it's a very thin line, but if you call it fair, call it fair. Like, okay, he gave him the extra time. Cool. What really irked me was he stands up. Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you want to continue? Can you see? Okay, now me being the champ, when I get up, why don't I get that same courtesy? Why don't I get that extra? I don't even need the extra 5 to 6 seconds, but why don't you make sure that as the champ that I want to continue?
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I hear your gripe. That's why I wanted to have you on. But I want to talk about something that's happening. Obviously, this fight's done. There's nothing we can do but look back and analyze, and thank you for doing that. But Alan Belcher, I mean, you were saying you think you should have a rematch immediately. I know a lot of fans were feeling that way as well. I have an audio quote from Alan Belcher that I'm going to play, and I want you to listen to it. Now, he's referring to Big Ben Rothwell, so you know, but let's listen to this piece of audio that he posted on his social media, and we'll kind of break the quote down, okay? Let's go to the audio quote.
Let's make this deal. As long as I'm getting paid, I don't care who I'm fighting. I'll fight the biggest, baddest.
Stop it.
That's where I was going to ask you.
Stop it.
As long as he's getting paid. He doesn't care who he fights.
That's the biggest line of bullshit I've ever heard come out of somebody's mouth.
Why are you saying that?
Because he responded to me, I beat you already. I'm on the bigger checks and bigger names. Maybe when I go broke, I'll come and fight you.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So basically what it all boils down to is, like I've been saying on Facebook for the last couple of weeks, Alan Belcher is a pussy. He has pusillanimous tendencies. I get the selling yourself and chasing the big money and all of that, but considering the controversy that took place in that last fight, why the fuck would you be trying to immediately set this rematch so you can put all this shit to an end?
Do you think that Alan Belcher, I'm going to ask you a very straight through?
Yes,
do you think
he's
he's scared of
scared.
you? Yep, you do.
Yes, he's scared.
Because I thought
he almost lost his eye in that fight.
So you think that he's just chasing that big payday, and it sounds like you also think that while we rate you as this amazing fighter, the bare knuckle fans know how tough you are, and we rate you highly in the circle that we travel in. But you don't think he rates you as highly, or he's scared of you. He's looking for the bigger fight. And if he loses to Big Ben, is it better to lose to a quote bigger name so he doesn't look bad? Is that kind of where you're at?
All right, Matt. You know what? That might make more sense right there. He doesn't view me as this.
We do, but he might
high
not.
level.
Yeah.
This high level fight. I can see that. That could make sense. Oh, I got the dub over him. I got the victory over him. Let me move on. No, the ref got the victory for you. You didn't do shit. The damage you received to your eye and your face says otherwise in comparison to me.
Well, I mean, we got your take on this now. You're going to be shouting for this rematch. I believe the fans are as well. You'd mentioned really quickly in the beginning when we started talking, there might be another fight coming up. I don't know how much you can tell us about that, but I guess it's not going to be Alan Belcher at this point, right?
I honestly couldn't tell you. They gave me a tentative date, but as far as an opponent, no name has been mentioned. Belcher was in there in the beginning, but then all this other shit started happening outside of the BKFC, so now everything's up in the air.
Do you think you'll ever get your fight with Alan Belcher? You just got to bark loud, or are you going to keep barking, or where does this end?
No, I don't think it'll ever happen. He's chasing money right now. Doesn't make sense to get your ass beat for a little piece of change. And
then not get the money that you're chasing because you got your ass beat, kind of thing.
Because of that fight you just lost in that rematch, now we have no need for you. We don't want to see you fighting. So business wise, I understand it.
Smart business.
But as far as legacy and the purpose of crowning a real champion and proving that you're the real champion, I mean, this is a man's sport. This is you have to have balls.
Oh yeah.
Let me not say that, there are women fighters. But even those women have balls. I don't give a fuck. They have balls.
Oh,
Misfit has balls.
Isolate
That's
that
my dog, but Misfit has balls. Taylor Starling has balls. Like Andy Nguyen. Everybody has balls. Like they do. To be able to compete and keep competing and be successful, you have to have balls.
Well, I mean, maybe you have the biggest balls of them all, as AC/DC would say. You like that? Putting you over there?
I'm here, and I said it before from the beginning. I said it from the beginning of time. I would never back down, turn down a fight. I've never had the opportunity to handpick my opponents. No, I don't want to fight him. I want to fight him. I told Feldman, and they same thing every time. Send me a contract. I don't care whose name is on it.
Well, I want to
can bleed just like I bleed. He go down like I do.
That's right. I want to say this because you probably can't see it. I'm looking at our chat here. Almost everybody in the chat. You got Michael calling the People's Champ. You got Big Ben saying the rematch needs to happen. You got all these people, Billboard nerds in here. They seem to be on your side. I think a lot of the bare knuckle faithful are. We're gonna follow the story, see what happens. I do hope there's a rematch. I'd like to see one day. Yeah, I really do. So listen, I know you're super busy. You took a couple minutes, carved it out of your time. Thank you for coming on. We have Lloyd Cupcake Mix coming up. I think he's waiting, so I have to get to him as well. But I really appreciate it. Arnold Adams, former, some would say still world champion. And we're going to follow this drama, man. Thank you for coming on, Arnold.
No problem, Brian.
All right, man. Have a good day, and I hope you get that rematch.
All right, you too, man.
Thank you.
You're a crumb creep. I want to fight you.
That's the incomparable former Philadelphia mayor, Frank Rizzo there. What did he say?
You're a crumb creep. I want to fight you.
Look that up that's on YouTube. If you've never seen that, as we wait for Lloyd Cupcake Mix to come on with us, if you've never seen that, there's this old Philadelphia mayor where we're from named Frank Rizzo. He was an absolute lunatic. He was hilarious. He tried to fight a news reporter. Maybe we'll air that video next week, but if you want to look for it on YouTube, you can. Just type in like Frank Rizzo attacks news reporters. He's like, they're outside of his house camped out, and he's trying to fight him. It's great. The mayor of the city.
Hey, Brian.
Good times. What's up, brother?
Check your phone. I sent you a little curveball I saw today, and I want your thoughts on it if you want.
Oh, Lord, I'm afraid to even look. I have my phone on airplane mode because I didn't want to disturb anybody. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to see what it says. Evan, you never know what the Lord's going to send you here. I'm quite nervous. Okay, I got nothing from you, buddy.
Allow me to share then.
Yeah, just share it. Now I have to go to it.
So on Facebook in the Only Hands group, somebody asked, "What's a good bare knuckle podcast?" And the top comment was from our own Quentin Henry, who said, "You have to find one that isn't paid by or endorsed by the promoters to just spam what they want the people to hear. Good luck."
Wow. Okay, that's not really a curveball. Look, I have no problem with Quentin Henry. I've always liked the hero. But, yeah, I mean, I do make a paycheck from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. But I'm a fan. I say it at every show. I'm a fan first. I'm a fan that was lucky enough to come across the rail, get a job here, and now bring you what I see as a fan. I had Nate on here. You know, I wanted to give his side of a fighter going back and forth. You got to be even, right? I just had Arnold Adams on here. Nobody told me to have him on here. I saw what was happening. I gave him platform to speak. I don't know if the promotion would like that. Maybe, I don't know. I really know nothing. Maybe they don't want that rematch. Maybe I'll get off here and get yelled at. I don't know. I get yelled at quite often. But know that they're not making me shill things. If there's something I don't want to do, and Evan's the same way. I think we're all like this. We're not going to do it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to bullshit you. I don't do that.
Well, I will if they want to slip me a little
If they pay it.
This is state-funded media. Whatever you got, I'll shill it.
Yeah. I'm going to laugh and I start coughing like I'm a 90-year-old smoker because I'm still sick. So you know, that's my thought on that. I mean, all due respect, Mr. Henry, I do call it the way I see it. I always have, I always will. When I did it in radio, it got me in a lot of trouble. It's probably why I don't work in radio anymore. But I do that here as well.
I mean, we just started this podcast for fun. It's not like we
right?
get any paid extra to come do it.
No, we're definitely not being paid extra. I make no money off this. But the thing is, when we weren't doing it, Evan and I, we would exchange text messages. Everybody wouldn't be like, we got to bring the podcast back. We miss it. We got to talk about this stuff. So, yeah, that's not at all true. But thanks for kind of mentioning this, Quentin. I'll take that. And I hope we can see you back real soon.
If it was about us.
Yeah, well, I mean, who else will be paid by the promotion? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I'll give you I'll talk about other good podcasts. Let's see. What do we like here, podcast-wise? Did I like?
We got Mission Accomplished.
Yeah, I was going to say Mike and Mission Accomplished. That's one. Susan is so loyal. She comes to the shows. That's Must Love MMA. There's a lot of good bare knuckle podcasts. I'll scroll a list of them up here for you one day if you want. I mean, we're all in this together. And thank you to all the podcasters that cover Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship aside from us, because that helps us. So we appreciate you guys. You know that. All right. Let's see. We have my man Lloyd Cupcake Mix. He's in the virtual waiting room. He's about to come on. He was very excited to come on. I'm excited. There he is.
Yeah.
There's my man.
What's up?
Sorry we were a little late getting you there, Bud. I appreciate you coming on. I can't believe I just called you Bud. Evan wouldn't like that. He doesn't like when I call people Bud and Buddy. He thinks it's disrespectful. That's not disrespectful, is it, Lloyd?
I feel like your big brother.
It's okay there, buddy. It's all right there, buddy.
See?
Everybody's a buddy to me.
I got two little kids. I got one little boy. Come here, Bud, buddy. I'm so used to saying it. You're going to be fighting June 9th, BKFC 44, Great Falls, Montana. You're a Montana boy. You said you kind of feel bad having to beat another Montana boy up in Dallas-Davidson, but you think that's what's supposed to be happening here. You're coming off your 14-second knockout in your last fight with us, which was huge. Chris Lytle was just talking about that. And just kind of talk about this. I mean, your first experience in BKFC, what did you think of it? I mean, it was very short. Do you think that works against you? You didn't get enough time in the ring last time. Where you at?
Where am I at? Well, right now, I'm in Missoula, Montana. I got my orange on, so you better watch out. You know, I'm here at work.
What, you working in prison?
I'm always working. I'm always not prison. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That was back in the day. Back in the day.
We'll get to that in a minute.
My first experience with BKFC was quite amazing. I literally came from work to go to there too. You could ask. There's I was actually working I think it was like a 20 days straight, and I know they had called me to fight, but I didn't know I was fighting Brett Fields. I thought I was fighting what's his name, Dwayne Let Me Bang Lane, and I was really looking forward to that fight with Dwayne Lane. Oh, you got the highlight going up there.
There you go. We got you.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's short. Boom, boom, boom. Bam. Yeah, but I was hoping to get Delane Lane in there, but unfortunately, I think he wanted some more money. He went and fought somebody that I had already fought in Caveman Rickles the week after, but he would have got it too, and that's for sure. I'm excited again, man. I didn't really expect for this to be a really exciting thing to do. my hands never really landed like that before, where, blood came out of the guy's mouth and he's just like all on. So it shocked me. My eyes were wide open for a reason. And it just got me super excited. And now I'm excited to get back in here. I know it's been a year for everybody who's been waiting, but I got in a small car accident, had to deal with a lot of stupid issues with that. But, now that it's fight week.
Yeah, it is fight week, and we're glad to see you're feeling better after the car accident. But let's kind of, Dallas Davidson, it's going to be a good fight. We're looking forward to that. But before we talk about that, I kind of want to talk about the man you used to be. I was talking to Sean Wheelock about this one time, and I know you've changed your name. You're Lloyd Cupcake Mix, which was an amazing fight name. But you did some time in Bellator, man, and you were Lloyd Woodard there, and now you changed to Mix. Most people know the story, I think, and if they don't, I'll tell you. It was your wife. You took your wife's name. That's not a normal thing to do, let's be honest. So why did you take your wife's name? Is it because I feel like you transformed after talking to Sean. You were kind of a Chris Lytle said it. You were an angry, angry man. You don't seem that anymore. Is that why you took the name? Is it like a new lease on life kind of thing?
I mean, she did settle me down, and my wife, man, and another reason why I said, man, you see my wife? She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
That's why you married her.
Man, gorgeous. But my wife has been like my rock, and everybody in Bellator knew before that. It was, I had another girl, her name was Adrian. I used to go, yo, Adrian, because I'm a Rocky fan.
Gotta be
I
Rocky.
consider myself to be like a Rocky. And, my rock has always been my lady. And, so what would be more, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, where my family's from Memphis. And I moved out here real young at the age of 14 years old with my mother. And after moving out here, and my mother moved back away. She got her doctor's degree. She's like a teacher over in Washington now. But I stayed here, and the Mix family, when I got together with my wife, actually, even before we were married, they have always taken me in as one of their own. Just like Montana. Montana has taken me in. Man, I love this state. But they have taken me in, and for me to change my name when we got married just seemed like the right thing to do, because they were my family. And I ain't got to be as normal as everybody else. I ain't got to do it. I ain't got to be the more aggressive man. Yeah. You going to take my name. There's a lot of Woodards out there. They know I love them. They have my love and support. They love me. But, I thought it was really important for me to, become one with Montana, one with my family in Montana. And that's why I took this Mixed name. I couldn't be more proud to take it, because, I am a changed man. I'm a lot more laid back now, a lot less stress. Getting to another point, but Michael Chandler taught me how to lose.
Yep.
In Bellator, he gave me my first loss. I got real angry with that. And if you could see all my promotions after that were I'm going in here to kill them. I'm going in here to give the fans what they want to see. You know what I mean? And it just kind of switched up my whole game plan. And, I kind of found myself back in my wife. And now, I'm ready to get back out. And as the last fight showed, I did fairly well. But I'm ready to get back out there and try it a different way, and not trying it with so much anger, and trying it with applied aggression.
Do you think losing the anger, this can happen? Do you think it cleared your mind? Do you feel like a more effective fighter now because you're concentrating more? How's that working out?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit.
Is it a more enjoyable process for you though, in fighting, and now that you've lost the anger?
Yeah, I think with the maybe that helped a little bit, but I think really what it was is I've always been a big fan of fighting, and when I was going through that process, and I have just bust onto the Bellator scene and was doing hot and stuff, and I think I just lost. I wanted the more to put on a show for the fans, and I lost the whole point of fighting really, because I just was I'm just going to go at him. I'm just a killer. I'm going to go kill this guy. But now that, I continue to watch watch fights all the time in combat sports. Just a huge fan. Listen to all the content. But now that I'm listening to it and all, and I watch myself, I realize, like, man, you're like running into stuff. You're like not even thinking. You just was a killer.
Yeah.
So now I'm a little bit tamed down.
So, yeah, you're tamed down, but you still have high energy. I dig it. So, before I let you out of here, Dallas Davidson, it's not going to be an easy fight. How do you beat Dallas Davidson this Friday night in Great Falls, Montana at BKFC 44?
I think the bigger question is, like, how do I not beat him? I mean, everyone I fought, like, and lost to, I wasn't out cold like my last dude I fought. They give you an 8 count over here. And if I get 8 seconds, I'm getting back up. And, like, long as I keep getting back up after those 8 seconds, I ain't going to say 9. I ain't going to let them, like, wave me off. As long as I keep getting back up, then, I'm going to win.
Yeah, well, that's a great, bold prediction, a great prediction, a prediction that every fighter believes when they walk in, but we will wish you the best fight you can have because I think you're a great guy. I like your journey, how far you've come, and thank you for coming on with us today. Before I let you go, last thing, you mentioned Michael Chandler earlier, which kind of got to what I was thinking. If that match could ever happen in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, you're after Dallas Davidson, you're not looking past him, but you got to be licking your lips for that a little bit. You want that fight.
Man, I mean, you saw Conor McGregor over there trying to get up in the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the whole Michael Chandler, man, he was the one that taught me how to lose. And, like, I'm not training to be like the best fighter because that's what I was training to be at the time, was the best fighter in the world. I'm training right now to whoop his ass. Well, I respect him because, man, that man's a good man all around. And, like, even after the fight, before the fight, he showed me a ton of respect. But I want to give him a loss. And he took a fight away from me that I was supposed to get from Eddie Alvarez. Mm-hmm. I asked Eddie Alvarez at a fight in Cleveland for that fight. He said that he didn't want no smoke because he was already UFC. He was already in the UFC. Mm-hmm. So, man, like, I'm going to hang around here in BKFC, stick it to the guys you need to be stuck it to. That belt does look shiny. It will be a great accomplishment to me. But my goal right now is to stick around here and get that win over those guys I was supposed to win. That guy who taught me how to lose.
How to lose, yeah. So
I beat him. I think I'm good. I think I'm voting away in the sunset.
Yeah, there you go.
Sailing into the sunset.
I think the fans would like to see Chandler, Alvarez, anybody, but right here and now, Dallas Davidson this Friday night, BKFC.com. Grab that app. Ladies and gentlemen, Lloyd Cupcake Mix, the man who does not work at a prison. He has 2 jobs, and he has time to train as well. I saw the orange on. I thought maybe you did. But go back to work, man, and let's rock and roll.
70 hours a week.
That's it.
We going back to work.
You
do 2 days, I do 2 days at work, and still get it after work. I'm coming for you, Dallas. You might be Montana tough, but you going down Montana strong. Montana. 406, I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the 406. I love you. You know I do.
We know you do. And
all right, sorry for being so hype.
No, I love you being hype. I usually have to be hype. Usually I'm here calm. Usually I'm the hype one. It's nice when somebody else is hype. So thank you for making the time to come on. I know you've spoken to me off air. You watch the show and you're into it. So I appreciate everything with you. Lloyd Cupcake Mix, BKFC.com. Grab that app. Watch him fight in the co-main event this Friday at BKFC 44. Thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you.
All right. So we have one more thing to get through. That was super intense. I knew Lloyd was like, he was over the top. He was crazy there. It was in a good way. Wow. One more thing to get to. We always do this at the end of the show. I want to talk about it again today. Feel free to send your clips in. It's the Bare Knuckle Show at gmail.com. It's going to appear right down here. Let's see how good I am at this. It's not working. Let's try. Down here. There it goes. All right.
Brandon's a little
no, he's doing
slow
great.
On the trigger.
He's doing great. I'm kind of throwing this stuff at him. I'm not using it, though. I'm just throwing it at him. So you can send any videos, any comments, anything you're doing in. We'd love it. If you have a podcast and you want to send something in a clip of it, if it makes it past the producers, we could try to get that on. Whatever it is, send what you have. We got videos. If you do an interview with a fighter, I love to watch it because I'm a fan like you, like I've said. Now, a guy that's been really entertaining me, and I want to get him on the show a little more in the future, Tony Loco Soto. He is loco. The guy's nuts. He's very entertaining, though. I was looking at his social media. I could laugh all day. He's out there. You can check it out. Tony Loco Soto. This is on Facebook. He's a professional skateboarder. I guess I would still call him that, even though he hasn't done it in a while, I guess. But he was doing it the other day. It was incredible what he was doing. So go check that out. But the clips that we have pulled, there's 2 clips. And this looks like it was in with like an hour of each other. Tony Loco Soto must just cruise around all day and find random people to talk to. Let's go to one of those clips. This is great. I guess the clip is...
Let me find out the nun from The Conjuring is also a mechanic. Let me find out Mother Teresa can change oil and bless your heart.
I mean, just randomly driving around, he sees a woman who looks like a nun going, where do you find, I want to live where he does. And Evan, I don't know, but I don't think that was a nun. I think that was an Amish person, and which is...
Well, I thought they don't, I think some drive.
Yo, how could she know how to fix a car? She drives a horse and buggy.
I think she was Amish as well. I think there's different sects. So some, that's S-E-C-T.
No, I was going to say, I'm confusing me.
Sect. There's the more strict ones, and then there's the ones.
Don't they have that thing called Rumspringa where they go and they get crazy?
It's Rumspringa.
Rumspringa, I don't know.
You don't watch the Breaking Amish show?
No, I've seen this. I'll tell you.
They're allowed to go do whatever they want for a little bit.
And they get crazy, and then most of them come back, right?
Yeah.
That's the ones you see because they don't have like a lot of money, so they're wearing like a Britney Spears shirt around. They got at the thrift shop. Let's party!
Well, it's
and
not
I'm not
that.
offending Amish people because they're not watching.
It's a totally different world. It's like an alien coming here and trying to be normal. So you'd like, what do? You put on a Britney Spears shirt and you're like, yeah.
You try to fit in, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you would? What kind of shirt would you wear?
Britney, yeah, I'll take Britney.
Yeah, she's good looking.
We got another video.
So hold on. Before I wanted one more thing.
Oh.
I'm looking at this whole thing with the nun or whoever he says, and I tell you, we live very close to Amish culture, and more than once, I'll admit it. I don't know if you've ever driven up there. I've almost hit a stagecoach, or not stagecoach. What are they called? I don't even know.
Horse and buggy. Yeah.
Back in the old West. Yeah, dude, I almost drove into a cornfield when I was younger, hitting one almost. But anyway, let's move on.
Were you drinking?
No, actually, no, dude. I probably I just can't drive. I'm terrible at it. So let's go to the other. I just filtered a joke out of my head that I was going to make. You'd be proud of all the people up top. Yeah, that wasn't.
Let's get to the video.
Let's get. Yeah, before I get with some trouble. Here's a second.
My man, don't ever disrespect me looking like Hulk Hogan and Macho Man had a baby, and they called him Coke Hogan.
What? What?
I said, don't ever disrespect me looking like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan had a baby.
Well, in the words of Hulk Hogan, train, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, be true to yourself, to your country, be a real American.
Oh, yeah. I love it. He hit the pose. It's D-Day. That guy's hyped up. And that was all in the span of like an hour. So I want to live where Tony Loco Soto does. I'm going to get him on, hopefully in the future, we'll do a little segment with him. Guy's got a lot of personality, and I laugh at his social media. So you can give him a follow, and you can send any videos, anything you have, anything. thebareknuckleshow@gmail.com. And correct me if I'm wrong, Harris, because last week you did when I was feverish. I'm feeling a little better this week, but I think that's the end of the show.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Evan, give me the rap symbol.
The what symbol?
The rap symbol. You do that usually. Yeah,
wrap it up.
There you go. Okay, here we go.
I hit the wrong fucking side.
What did you hit?
Hold on.
There you go. Wrap it up. All right, we're going to see you Friday night. BKFC 44, BKFC.com. Grab that app. It's a grudge match for a world title and a fight full of awesome fighters. Until that time, I say get bucked up and knuckle up.
Turning his back, referee Andrew Glenn taking a close look, and that is it!
Great Falls, we all know who the winner and champion of the 145-pound division is.
He can right hand knock down number 3. Huge left hand from Lloyd Mixon. We are done. We are done. Billy Wagner just keeps on rolling.